BJORK is an experimental electropop artist who has been known to mix elements of jazz and classical music in her work. She was born in 1965 in Iceland, and at the age of 6, she studied classical piano and flute. Her father was a member of the band Pops, and during her teens, she joined an all-girl punk band. In 1986, BJORK's current band, the Sugar Cubes, were signed to One Little Independent, formerly known as One Little Indian Records. In 1993, BJORK moved to London to begin her solo career. BJORK is currently signed to One Little Independent Records as well as UMG, the Big Three distributor. Several of her albums have already reached the Billboard Top 20 in the US, and she's also sold over 40 million copies worldwide. Even though most of BJORK's work can be seen as experimental, and she is signed to One Little Independent Records, which is an indie distributor, her music is mostly pop and can and has been enjoyed by a mainstream audience. However, the experimental aspect means it won't reach as much of a mainstream audience as it would have. Her music, however, has also been able to reach more alternative crowds due to its experimental nature, and has shown that it can also be marketed to a secondary niche target audience. We will likely focus our marketing towards a mainstream audience, however, we will also take into account the experimental or alternative secondary audience. As I said previously, BJORK is currently signed to One Little Independent Records, which was founded by various anarcho-punk bands, and it became an indie label, doing self-distribution. Most of the artists are split between rock and electronic music. However, the majority of their artists are Icelandic or British, with 5 out of 17 being Icelandic and 5 out of 17 being British. She's also signed a music deal or distribution deal with UMG, or Universal Music Group, which is one of the big three distributors. Currently, BJORK has over 1.7 million monthly listeners on Spotify. This is as of December 4th, 2021. Most of her popular songs average around 20 million plays. Overall, I'd say that her presence on Spotify has been relatively successful, especially when you compare it to her colleagues in the same industry, such as the DJs Underworld, for example. She's also been able to reach a relatively international/global audience through Spotify, mainly situated in South America, Europe, Central, and North America. BJORK also has a presence on Instagram, where she has also performed well with over 1.4 million followers and a relatively good level of engagement on her posts, with some of her posts having as high as 182,000 likes and 2,182 comments. This again shows that she has been able to successfully promote herself on this platform and engage with her audience. BJORK also has a series of posts on her Instagram which she calls Score Stories, where she tells the audience the backstory of many of her songs or albums and how they were written. This allows the fans to find out more about her art, making this a great way for her to engage with her audience, and one we would look to simulate. This plays well into the uses and gratifications theory, as this provides information for the viewer. BJORK's imagery may be very striking, but it is also very colorful. This could mean that she is trying to appeal to a younger teen or mainstream audience. It makes sense to appeal to a younger audience, as that is a primary demographic on Instagram. Her visual brand is also very crazy and over the top with her costumes and videos, which is very well suited for Instagram, as on this platform it is often important to grab the user's attention with visual content. BJORK has made an appearance on Polar Music Prize, which is a Swedish award given annually to one classical and one contemporary musician. They have a YouTube channel where BJORK did an interview. This award is internationally recognized by some as one of the most prestigious and unique music prizes in the world, again emphasizing her global appeal. In 2004, she did an interview with Jonathan Ross, who was a presenter for the BBC. He did a late night Friday show. This show had some appeal in the UK as it appeared on mainstream television, again, which is further evidence of her mainstream appeal, at least in the UK market. She has also had articles written about her published on the Far Out magazine, which is a British online culture magazine, which focuses primarily on independent and alternative cultures and artists. This is evidence for how BJORK has also managed to generate appeal from less mainstream and more alternative audiences.